William Morrow and HarperAudio present Seducing Mr. Knightley by Maya Rodale, performed by Carolyn Morris. Prologue. Young rogue crashes Earl's funeral. Obituary. Today England mourns the loss of Lord Charles Peregrine Fincher, 6th Earl of Harrowby, and one of its finest citizens. The Morning Post. St. George's Church, London, 1808. Derek Knightley had not been invited to his father's funeral. Nevertheless, he rode hell for leather from his first term at Cambridge to be there. The service had already commenced when he stalked across the threshold, dressed in unrelenting black, still dusty from the road. To remove him would cause a scene. If there was anything his father's family had loathed, other than him, it was a scene. The late Earl of Harrowby had expired unexpectedly of an apoplexy, leaving behind his countess, his heir, and one daughter. He was also succeeded by his beloved mistress of over 20 years, and their son. Delilah Knightley hadn't wanted to attend. Her son tried to persuade her. "We have every right to be there," he said forcefully. He might not be the heir, or even have his father's name, but Derek Knightley was the Earl's firstborn and beloved son. "My grief will not be fodder for gossips, Derek, and if we attend it shall cause a massive scene. Besides, the Harrowby family will be upset. We shall mark his passing privately, just the two of us," she said, patting his hand in a weak consolation. Delilah Knightley, exuberant darling of the London stage, had become a forlorn shell of her former self. In grief, Knightley couldn't find the words to explain his desperate need to hear the hymns sung in low, mournful tones by the congregation, or to throw a handful of cool dirt on the coffin as they lowered it into the earth. The rituals would make it real, otherwise he'd always live with the faint expectation that his father might come round again. He needed to say goodbye. Most of all, Derek desperately wanted a bond to his father's other life, including the Haute Tonne, where the Earl had spent his days and some nights. The younger brother Derek never had adventures with, and a younger sister he never teased, so it might not seem like the man was gone entirely and forever. Whenever young Knightley had asked questions about the other family, the Earl would offer sparse details. Another son who dutifully learned his lessons and not much else. A sister fond of tea parties with her vast collection of dolls. There was the country estate in Kent that Knightley felt he knew, if only by all the vivid stories told to him at night before bed. His father described the inner workings of Parliament over the breakfast table. But mostly, the Earl wanted to step aside from his proper role and public life, to enjoy the woman he loved and his favoured child, and forget the rest. Knightley went to the funeral, alone. The doors had been closed. He opened them. The service had begun. Knightley disrupted it. Hundreds of sadly bowed heads turned back to look at this intruder. He straightened his spine and dared them to oppose his presence with a fierce look from his piercing blue eyes. He had every right to be here. He belonged here. Derek caught the eye of the new Earl, held it, and grew hot with fury. Daniel Peregrine Fincher, now Lord Harrowby, just 16 years of age, was a mere 2 years younger than his bastard half-brother, who had dared to intrude in polite company. He stood, drawing himself up to his full height, a full 6 inches less than Derek, and declared in a loud, reedy voice, "Throw the bastard out! He doesn't belong here!" Chapter 1. A Writing Girl in Distress. Dear Annabelle, I desperately need your advice. Sincerely, Lonely in London, The London Weekly. Miss Annabel Swift's Attic Bedroom, London, 1825. Some things are simply true. The earth rotates around the sun. Monday follows Sunday, and Miss Annabel Swift loves Mr. Derek Knightley.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?